Welcome into the Hilton Head News. I'm Bob Stevens. We're going to spend a lot of time this half hour looking back at some of our great stories of 2015, but we also want to peek ahead to 2016, and no one better to do that with than Mayor David Bennett himself. Mayor Bennett, glad to have you with us.
Great to be here.
We teased a little something last week talking about you want to have coffees and get a little more interactive with folks in the town. Tell us a little bit more about why you want to do that. Have you got any idea yet on the structure of all of that and what you hope to gain from it?
Well, I'm still working on the structure, to be honest with you, Bob, but I honestly want to hear from our citizens. I want to understand what they're thinking. I want to understand what their concerns are so that we can better, as a council, work to address those needs and concerns.
Working into 2016, now that you've had a year under your belt, you've worked with all of the town employees who have outlived town councils and mayors and everything else over the years. Now that you, I guess, should have a better feeling as to what page everybody is on, where do you see us going? What's the vision for 2016?
Well, that's an interesting word that you've picked, Bob, because I think that's probably first and foremost on our list to accomplish in 2016. Is the identification of a vision for our community. Heretofore, I personally have wondered what many people are thinking about where it is that we as a community want to or should go. And to date, there really has been no formalized process that has allowed us to gather broad-based public input into what our preferred future should be. And so Town Council has set as a priority for 2016 the development of that vision.
Development is an interesting word you just bring up, because that in the end is kind of the line we're going to have to someday maybe draw. You have been very demonstrative in your discussions about keeping the natural habitat of this island and what makes it such a great tourist attraction viable, and yet there are those who want to develop and bring it up a little closer to that line. Is this what you're talking about in this vision, is trying to figure out where that line is?
Well, the vision is really an identification of where it is we are desiring to go as a community. Some of it concerns development. Some of it concerns identifying, who it is we are and what it is we value as a community. And what are those assets and features about Hilton Head Island that make us unique, that should be treasured, that should be elevated in the marketing of our island, elevated in the quality of life in our island. And I think we need to come together and gain some consensus on that. As well, we're looking at the end of the baby boomer era, and we now have the next generation that someday will be retiring, and the millennials who will be retiring. I often wonder, what is it that they are looking for in a retirement destination? What are the things that are important to them? And I think we need to work to create that perfect blend that will address all of those different needs.
You mentioned millennials. The USC campus is coming closer to being a reality on the island.
Yes, sir.
Where is that going in your feeling in 2016?
Well, the Planning Commission will be conducting public project reviews for the intended development plan for the USC campus. And in 2016, Council will start on many of the efforts to put in place the proper infrastructure. They'll start some demolition work for many of the buildings that they've purchased to make way for the USC campus.
Okay. Another thing that has come up, and it again goes back to what you were talking about, vision, is development and economic development of the island. There has been some noise made in the last few weeks that Commerce Secretary Bobby Hitt has said that the Low Country is not very together in its intergovernmental relations and in getting the island together with Bluffton, together with Beaufort County, to promote all that. What's your thought on that, and where can that go in 2016?
Well, I think Council has identified that certainly as a priority. Okay. Obviously, a couple of years ago, the previous Town Council determined that to be a priority as well, and that's why we have our Hilton Head Island Economic Development Corporation, headed up by Don Kirkman. Mm-hmm. And he's been working diligently in conjunction with his board to develop some plans for reaching out and attracting new businesses that would be appropriate given our value system here on the island. But you're right. We do need to work at this from at a minimum, a regional standpoint. And to that end, I, in conjunction with Bill Harkins, our Mayor Pro Tem, have reached out to the town of Bluffton, to the town of Port Royal, the town of Beaufort, to begin laying forth a plan of how it is we might best work together. And our Don Kirkman has drafted a proposed structure for that. I've not yet been able to review that, but I hope to here in the coming days, and the idea would be to meet with the other mayors and town managers in January and work to decide, what it is we want this collaborative effort to achieve and how do we want it to play out. And I expect that to happen in January, and then we'll see where those next steps would be.
That's great. Terrific idea. Well, thank you so much again for all of your time. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. We look forward to watching the progress of our island in 2016. I'm sure you do as well.
Thank you, Bob. Good to be here.